Probably turn my ringer off.
That's what's called my big mouth. Everybody knows, and now just getting better, man.
All right, that was Oasis with I'm way. What the fuck is going on with my screen? I'm way too excited. I don't want to add a media source. I just want you to go away. Something like that. No, let's not add a media source. God, I hate this fucking new interface. Hey, everybody, that is Oasis with My Big Mouth from the, that's what I get in trouble for, is My Big Mouth. From the Nebworth concert in 1996. That's an awesome video. I am way too excited about the Oasis reunion, gentlemen. I know, Steve, you can care less.
I have no idea who they are. I've never heard of them until tonight.
They're a British band. People used to say they sounded like the Beatles, and they ripped off the Beatles. The Beatles never sounded that fucking good in their lives. Let me just tell you that. Intense wall of sound kind of music. I'm really glad to have the brothers back. They have quite the saucy relationship over the years. All right, guys, welcome to Real News Live. It is a toxically masculine Tuesday tonight with the usual crew. I'm your host, Mike Barrett, in Las Vegas, Nevada. It was over 100 degrees again today. Hopefully those days are ending. I'm just drinking water to get rehydrated. I'm joined, as I always am every week, by the boys over there to my immediate stage left, my screen right, Dr. Brooks Agnew, the man who you cannot spend 4 hours in a car with and not come away smarter. Dr. Brooks Agnew, somewhere in the Carolinas. Brooks, how are you? How was your day? How was your Labor Day? And what are you drinking?
Doing really well. Labor Day is when we work twice as hard as any other day. So we poured about 26 yards of concrete today. So it's done. I'm rehydrating as well with some Perrier.
Excellent. And kitty corner to me, going counterclockwise. Down there in the corner in his usual spot is my buddy Steve Doran, the trail boss, the future governor of Arkansas, future sheriff of Izard County. Steve Doran, the trail boss. There's a lot of testosterone in this room.
There is a lot of testosterone, and today I am actually drinking homemade tomato juice that Brenda made with homegrown tomatoes and a little bit of Soldier vodka in there.
Oh,
Looks like a canteen. I got to get one for Mike because Mike is the tank guy and he likes this kind of crap.
I like tanks. I do. I like tanks, especially German Panzers from World War II. Steve, we're going to have to do a show together. Steve has quite the health history, the health story to tell. And Steve, I was going to ask you, are you, is vodka something you can have on your revised diet or
not on a regular basis?
You're not supposed to. Okay.
I drink, this is the deal. When I say I put a splash in there, it's just to remind me what it's like.
A splash is 4 fingers with Steve.
Yeah,
Doran.
but it's like, I make whiskey and all that kind of stuff, and I just literally put enough in my mouth so that I can taste it. Eventually, I'll be able to drink again, but at this juncture, no.
Yeah. Now, by the way, I realized Dave Barrell left his computer on behind me, so I'm going to have to slip out of here at some point and turn the screen off so you don't get his porn screensaver.
Are you going to beat him while?
Yeah, no. But in the meantime, I am going to talk to TV's Blake Wally, not the 4th member of the crew, but the 4th guy we're talking to today. TV's Blake Wally, somewhere east of California. I'm going to maximize you, Blake. And why don't you tell us how you're doing, how your Labor Day was, and what you're drinking?
Well, I am doing well. It's great to be here. I had a pretty good weekend, all considering. It's good to have football back, so that was exciting. I was from Vegas. I've moved out of there, but I lived there for a long time, so I do enjoy my football gambling. And tonight, I'm going to be cracking this bottle of Bullet Bourbon, little frontier whiskey.
Right, little Bullet. Oh, I've got to let this fucking. Okay.
Bullet Bourbon. And so did you enjoy the Elvis one? I'm just curious. Did you like it, or was it just you had to drink it because you bought it?
The Elvis whiskey, they make different kinds, but that one was the peanut butter, banana, and bacon one. And it's 70 proof. It's much like Southern Comfort, where Southern Comfort is like a peach base, like a whiskey liqueur. The Elvis whiskey that I had was like a banana liqueur with whiskey. So it was good, but it's a little too sweet. Wouldn't buy it.
All right, boys. All right, boys. We're gonna start with a little. Can anybody make that science fiction sound, that ooh kind of thing? Anybody? Can anybody do that well?
I don't know.
No. All right. This is really fucking weird. And so, Brooks, we're gonna start talking about this. I got my thoughts on this. This is the Starliner spacecraft designed by Boeing. I think it comes from the Orion program. My company, Northrop Grumman, lost the contract to Boeing in 2006, which is why I had to give up my cushy, massively high-paying job in LA and move back to Seattle for a while before I got back to LA. It was a long story. But these guys, this is the shittiest spaceship out there. But let's listen to a little dialogue between the astronauts and mission control on this one.
Houston on 2, I've got a question about the Starliner.
Houston's with you, Butch. Go ahead.
There's a strange noise coming through the speaker, and I didn't know if you could connect into the Starliner and let me keep mic and let you hear it. I don't know what's making it, but I don't know if it's something that maybe is connected between here and there, making that happen. But anyway, can you do that?
We can configure that, Butch. Give us a minute, and I'll call you back when it's ready.
Okay.
Station Houston on 2, we're configured for audio via hardline and CST, if you want to give us a call.
Okay, I'm in Starliner, and how do you read?
5x5, how many?
Okay, I'm gonna keep the mic up next to the speaker.
Copy.
Hear that?
At negative, Butch, we did not hear anything.
That.
All right, Butch, that one came through. It was kind of like a pulsing noise, almost like a sonar ping.
Yeah, I'll do it one more time, and I'll let y'all scratch your heads and see if you can figure out what's going on. Here we go. All right, over to you. Tell us if you figure it out.
Yep, good recording. Thanks, Butch. We will pass it on to the team and let you know what we find. And Butch, just to make sure I'm on the same page, this is emanating from the speaker in Starliner. You don't notice anything else, any other noises, any other weird configs in there?
Very nice. Nothing else. Everything else is normal.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, what the fuck was that? Okay, look here, let me just tell you something. If your spacecraft is making noises that you've never heard before and that it shouldn't be making, you have a problem. Now, I don't know where the problem is. I don't know if this is the Klingons or the Romulans playing a trick on the Starliner guys. I don't know what the hell's going on here, but that does sound like a sonar ping coming through the speakers in the spacecraft, which actually nothing should be. Now, it could be some sort of pump or something, but why would it be coming through the spacecraft? I just got to tell you, this goes. There's lots of other weird things that have happened. There was music in space on the Apollo missions. I think I want to say Apollo 10. They heard music when they were on the dark side or the back side of the moon, and they were like, "That's really weird. Where is that coming from?" I don't know, Brooks. Do you think aliens are fucking with the astronauts? The Starliner thing is a disaster. It is literally an example of how far Boeing has fallen since I left the company in 1994. Brooks, you got any thoughts on this? Because it sure as shit sounds like somebody's pinging them with a sonar or a radar or something. What the hell could it be?
I have heard this noise before. When I used to do ground probing radar out in the field, one of the systems that I invented, I used to hear this exact same sound. It's in the 650 hertz range. And what it is, it's the oscillator in a laptop. Oscillator in a laptop pulses just like that, and it broadcasts sound. It's not supposed to. FCC says it's not supposed to do that, but it does. And if you have a very accurate antenna, it will pick up this pulse and broadcast it over your audio system. So that's what it is. It is the oscillator in a laptop.
Send them a bill, Brooks. Send them a bill for figuring this out.
Have you posted this? Have you posted this on Twitter by any chance? Well, post it on Twitter.
I just heard it today, so I've heard it before. I know what it is.
I will dodge and dash and go through the maze and find your tweet, and I will retweet it. Problem solved. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. That it's a crystal oscillator inside of a laptop, and again, problems they didn't have on Apollo because they didn't have laptops on Apollo. Interesting issue. Anybody else have any thoughts on this? I think, Brooks, that sounds very authoritative. I'll take that.
We have nothing to say after that.
Yeah,
right.
It drove me nuts for a while. I shielded my computer and everything like that, and it wasn't that. I had a square wave antenna outside that was receiving the signal broadcast by my mobile unit. And I was actually a frequency band I was looking for. And I was being fooled by the oscillator in the freaking laptop I was using.
Do you think that, Tesla back in 1906, when there was only, a handful of radio stations around the country, he talked everybody into listening to Mars during Mars opposition, which is Mars' closest approach to the Earth, and he got a signal. It was semi-regular, but it was not as regular as that. And some people tried to argue it was a washing machine being picked up by the radios. Do you buy any of that kind of stuff? Because I don't. I think it was coming from Mars, but that's
the washing machine is 60 hertz. The first radio station in the country was KSL in Salt Lake City, and it was a blowtorch. It was really like 75,000 watt blowtorch. It put out a signal, and it would bounce off the ionosphere and screw with everybody. So that's probably where his signal came from.
Okay, interesting. It's funny because they actually had a device hooked up. It was basically the first Xerox printer. It was called the Jenkins radio camera, and it took the pulses and formed them into an image. And the image was a profile of a face coming from Mars.
Wow.
That's cool shit. All right. Okay. Other things going on. Speaking of fake, phony bullshit, let's listen to Come Swallow Horace.
Oh, wow.
Over the course of the same day and two different speeches, it's like, this is just really classically, she's such a fucking weirdo.
You better thank a union member for the 5-day work week. You better thank a union member for sick leave. You better thank a union member for paid leave. You better thank a union member for vacation time. You better thank a union member for the 5-day work week. You better thank a union member for sick leave. You better thank a union member for paid leave. You better thank a union member for vacation time. You better thank a union member.
Okay.
Thank unions for sick leave. Thank unions for paid family leave. Thank unions for your vacation time. Thank unions for sick leave. Thank unions.
So the difference, obviously, in the two events is it's crazy insane. She's running the fake black accent. First of all, you better thank a union. First of all, Come Swallow, you're not black. You're Indian and Jamaican, and you were raised in Canada, and you don't talk like that. And secondly, the unions didn't get any of those things done. It was the companies, the corporations like General Motors, who came up with the 5-day work week and paid vacation and sick leave and things like that because they were short of workers and they needed to recruit them. These were benefits that were created before the unions ever came along. So once again, she's lying. TV's Blake Wally. Is there anything less sincere than this stupid twat that the Democrats have put out as a presidential candidate?
Yeah, that's really bad. It's cringeworthy. Can't believe they let her do this. I got to imagine that somebody had to make a decision and try to coach her into this. Yeah, it's insulting. It's degrading. It's probably very racist, inappropriate, condescending. It's this elitism, just looking down at everybody. And that's how stupid they think that their voters are, I guess. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, really 100%. Bad look, but it's funny for us to talk about.
Steve, doesn't this just make you want to puke? Or I mean, what do you think? Do you think anybody buys this crap? I mean, they must.
The sad part is that people do buy. That's what drives me absolutely insane. I mean, you listen to people argue that we need her as a president, and I'm not saying on a grand scale, but on social media and that type of thing. I'll be monitoring different feeds or whatever, and people are literally believe that she is going to save this country. It is the most moronic thing I've ever heard in my life. I had an argument earlier today where someone was talking about government money, and I said it's not government money; it's taxpayer money. We paid it in; it's our money. They just happen to control it. And somebody said, "Oh no, 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 no! Once you pay your taxes, that money belongs to the government. It isn't yours no more. You have no say in what happens to it." And I'm thinking, where did these people come from? Yeah. And those are the people voting for Harris.
Yeah, and the thing is, it's not your taxpayer money. It's money that they print. Nobody needs to pay.
I know, but it's our money. It's not government land. It's our land.
Right. It comes out of
our government money. It's our money.
It comes out of our secret trust fund accounts in the Federal Reserve. That's actually where it comes from. Brooks, do you think that? What can you say about a person who's this so insincere? And what does it say about the mental state of so many Americans, like Steve was talking about, that they actually buy this bullshit?
Look, this is what Kamala does best. Okay, she's standing up there at the podium, and she is sexually stimulating union members. All right, she's stroking or she's whatever. The union members, they know this is a lie, but it feels so good. They just got to let it come, and that's why we call her Kamala.
So it's a political hand job then.
Oh yeah.
Okay, yeah. With massage oil, by the way.
And what they don't realize is if she gets into power, they're out of a job.
Yeah, well, not only that, they're out of a job, the country's out of business, and everything else is, we're in World War III gets started. We're in deep trouble, and I'm very concerned they're going to try to start World War III before we even get to the election because things are not going well. All right, another thing that happened this week is there was a wreath laying ceremony, of course, at Arlington National Cemetery. I believe we covered it last week. But the Harris campaign, or the intern who runs the Twitter account in the Harris campaign, put out this bad fake tweet as vice president. I mean, again, we know these people don't actually do their own tweets. Only Trump does. As vice president, I had the privilege of visiting Arlington National Cemetery several times. It is a solemn place, a place where we come together to honor American heroes who have made the ultimate sacrifice in service of this nation. It is not a place for politics. And yet, as was reported this week, Donald Trump's team chose to film a video there, resulting in an altercation with cemetery staff. Let me be clear. You thank a union member, the former vice president. Why does she talk like Aunt Jemima half the time? The former president disrespected sacred ground, all for the sake of a political stunt, says Kamswala. Okay, absolutely, Brooks. None of that is true. Trump was invited. The Biden people were invited. They did not show up.
Every head of state was invited.
Yeah, and Trump showed up, and the video was sanctioned. There was no altercation. Everything she put in that tweet is a lie, and it's backfiring against her. We're going to talk about that in the next issue. It's really backfired. How politically tone deaf do you think these Gen Xers, blue-haired freaks that are running the Kamswala Harris campaign?
Well, they really stepped in at this time. These 19 and 20-year-old aides that Kamala has, they're writing her tweets. I don't even think she knew this went out. But when the actual Gold Star parents got this tweet, they responded, and it was absolutely kick-ass. And they went viral. And I know she's trying to cover this up as fast as she can, but this shit stinks from coast to coast, and everybody saw it.
Yeah. Blake, well, let's go to Steve next. Steve had something to say. Steve, what do you think about somebody who lies about? I mean, this is an important. These families were. This was for the 13 men who were killed in the Afghanistan withdrawal who didn't need to die. Doesn't this really get under your skin as a military man?
I mean, it really does. From just forget it as a military man. It gets under my skin as an American. These people sacrifice their lives for us. 1% protects the 99%. And, the fact is that they deserve respect. They deserve to be honored for their sacrifice, which is the ultimate sacrifice. And to have somebody come in and play these kind of games is just beyond reprehensible. I mean, beyond reprehensible. If you've ever been there, you understand the sacrifices that all these men and women made who are buried there for our country, and to use that in any way as a political lever is just, disgusting.
Yeah, absolutely it is. Blake, any particular thoughts on this particular incident? And is there any lie that they will not tell to hold on to power?
No, they're making up big lies, and they're trying to get their people to believe it. They keep gaslighting everybody, even though they're not based in reality. Whether that's Trump did something disrespectful there, or whether Project 2025 is his, or whether he said he's to inject bleach for COVID, or he's going to be dictator for life because he said he would do it for one day, or whether it was a bloodbath when he was referring to automakers. They constantly take these things out of context, and then they try to dunk on lies that they manufacture. That's how stupid they think their people are. And yeah, they blew this opportunity. Not that they had much. They're trying to ignore this because it was embarrassing. It was a debacle for the administration. They can't take accountability, even though they should be there, making amends or doing something. But since they can't, they just have to manufacture BS on Trump instead. And hopefully people will get both sides of that story.
Yeah, they have no issues. And the thing is that this campaign is running against itself, because they're basically running, I will fix the problems that my administration and Joe Biden's administration created in the last 4 years. I mean, how insane is that? And,
wait a minute, I thought she said that he didn't create any problems. She was behind him 100%. He did everything right. So
the thing is, all Trump has to do is take what she say now versus what she said before, put the commercials up, put them up side by side, and it's over. And yeah, the families fired back really, really hard on this one. Here's the mother of one of the slain soldiers.
Vice President Harris, my name is Christy Shamblin. My daughter-in-law, Sergeant Nicole Leanne G., was killed in the Afghanistan exit at Abbey Gate on August 26, 2021. This year, for the 3rd year anniversary of her murder, we welcome President Donald J. Trump to Arlington to lay a wreath on the tomb of the unknown soldier with our family and to visit Nicole graveside. President Trump and his team were respectful. They listened to our stories and didn't talk much at all. We welcomed them that day, and they were comfort to our family. Vice President Harris, I ask you, why won't you return a call and explain to us how you call my daughter-in-law's death a success? Vice President Harris, why will you not express your condolences yourself? Why have we never heard from you? And finally, why would you take a day where we celebrated the death of our loved one and use it to disparage not only them, but us? President Trump has called. President Trump shows up. And President Trump takes the time to hear our loved ones' stories. Why won't you do the same?
Again, if I was Trump, all I would do is simply take that and make a commercial out of it and play it in every state in the fucking union. Brooks, what do you think about it?
Well, I mean, her video was devastating. I mean, really hit to the core. But the father's video was absolutely he was infuriated, and he hit not just the emotional side, he hit the honor side of it. It was very powerful.
Yeah. Steve?
Yes, sir.
It's hard to argue with that. And what, I mean, the reason why Vice President Harris hasn't called is because, first of all, she's not vice president. She was never elected vice president. She's never been elected to any major national, she was never elected as vice president. She doesn't have a role in this. And because she's a fucking commie bitch and she doesn't care. Am I wrong?
First of all, if you look at history, okay, starting with Obama, when Republicans are in office, people like Reagan, Trump, those types of individuals, they really care about the troops. They don't leave them standing outside in the hot sun for 8 hours waiting for them to come, have their lunch and come out and speak. They make sure that those men and women have, are hydrated, they have food, they get them in the shade, and they only bring them out when they're ready to do their speech or ready to review the troops or whatever. Historically, the Democrats treat our men and women in uniform like total trash. They have absolutely no compassion for them. I mean, look at the National Guard. They made them sleep in parking garages, and they didn't even have sleeping bags. They're sleeping in their uniforms on the ground in a parking garage, and I don't even know how they were being fed, to be honest with you.
Yep. Like, does this hurt her politically? Because of course, all the mainstream media, which is a small percentage now. 7-year-old reruns of Me on Ancient Aliens get bigger viewership than the mainstream newscasts do anymore. But does this really hurt her, or will it only hurt her if Trump puts it out there and puts it in commercials and reminds people of it? Does it make a difference in this campaign?
Yes, it will absolutely make a difference. I 100% agree with you. And that's the only way you're going to break through to some of these people who would otherwise not see it. They're completely insulated by their own media who are not going to play these kinds of clips because it's embarrassing for their administration. So again, they're just going to show that their audience that, it's just terrible how Trump just showed up and did whatever and then just
political stunt
or something. So that's everybody's going to see those attack ads, though. They bury those wherever. So that's important to see because a lot of these people, that's just what they vote on. But that is damning. There's a lot of those. There's a lot of material that they get to work with. So they got to spend wisely and hit it hard.
Yeah. Yes, I would. The Batman. Yes, I would. All over that shiz. Okay, so the question is it hurting her politically in the polls? The answer apparently is yes. There is a new poll from the Interactive Polls people. This is the latest forecast from Nate Silver at 538, who is very, very Democrat. He's very Democrat leaning. He's very biased. This is from today. Chances of winning the presidency are now forecast 56.7% for Donald Trump. Now, I will remind you, he had Hillary Clinton at 90% in 2016, but he has changed his methodology since then. In Pennsylvania, he's got Trump up 57.43, in Georgia 64.36, in Arizona 67.33. These are percentages of winning, odds of winning these states. North Carolina, 70% chance. Nevada, 57%. Michigan, Harris is 51% to 49, very close. Wisconsin, 53.49. And the polling market odds are 51% to 47%. And if you look at it on a chart, here's the separation that's happening. And this is from since the DNC and since the incidents last weekend. So quite honestly, gentlemen, it appears that this issue and others are helping Donald Trump, including Swala did her first interview with her emotional support governor, Tim Horse Jizz Drinking Waltz. And it was such a bad interview that apparently they shot 41 minutes and only used 18 in the interview. It was so awful. So I'm going to tell you right now, Harris is not going to win Michigan and she's not going to win Pennsylvania. She's losing by bigger margins than that in both those states. So given that he's such a leftist, Nate Silver over at 538, Brooks, what do you make of the state of the race at this point?
Well, there is a lot of propaganda, of course, but the main battle states are Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania. If the Democrats lose these three states, there is no statistical way they can win the election. I think they're going to lose all three of those states. I think Trump is up way big in all these states. There's a reason why he's having rallies in Wisconsin, in Michigan, in Pennsylvania. He's very strong, and I don't think he's going to make any mistakes. And by the way, today, the Trump ads started on social media, and they're going to ramp up from here.
Yeah. Blake, what do you think the state of the race is at this point? Let's assume there's going to be an election, and let's assume it's not going to be rigged. What do you think the state of the race is as it stands now?
I mean, maybe I'm biased, but I would think it's got to be at least 60-40. Like, it should be a landslide. And I don't know what they know internally, but that's pretty damning if Nate Silver is going to put those kind of statistics out, because the media keeps trying to put this out like it's 48-47. It's just so close. But I don't see that in the real world. I don't see that happening, and everything's phony about Kamala. So I'm not really seeing that support. People really want their Trump back, and they're pretty angry about last time. And I think it's going to be, again, should be a landslide, but they got to do everything possible to make sure that there's not any shenanigans this time around, or none of it matters.
Yeah, it is interesting in the mainstream media that they are actually now sort of admitting that Trump is back in the lead after Kamala Harris's post-convention bounce. She got no bounce. And Trump, I think Trump's at least 9 points ahead, probably more like 11 to 15. Everybody still admits, Rasmussen reports 10 to 11 to 15 to a 20-point lead among independents. Steve, what do you
I'm going with a landslide 20-point. I cannot believe that somebody who literally had no backing from the American people whatsoever, they couldn't stand her. They were horrified. Even the Democrats were horrified that Harris was picked to take Biden's place, and they couldn't stand her, hated her guts, and all of a sudden she's neck and neck with Donald Trump. I mean, that's absolutely ridiculous. It never happened. It's not happening now, and we all know that the polls are skewed. And if he doesn't win by a landslide, and she takes any one of those states, there's no doubt it was rigged. Absolutely, it's rigged. There is no way that she's going to take any of those states legitimately.
And this time, if it's rigged, I think it's going to result in a I get in big trouble, a CW.
Yes.
Well, there is a world.
There will be unrest. People will not sleep well.
Yes.
There is a world in which Kamala Harris is winning, and that's the Alexa world. I know you play this. I know you're going to play it.
Well, okay. All right. I'll go look for it. But yeah, I will. I wasn't going to play it, but I will play it.
Oh my God.
But okay, let's go. Let's go. Well, when we do the next issue, I'll go look for it.
Okay.
Let's go through this. Right now, basically, she's back to polling about where Biden was. If you look at the real polls, the polls you can actually trust. If she's not doing any better than Biden, they got rid of Biden. I don't see any reason why they wouldn't get rid of her. Do you think that she makes it? Let's pretend the military doesn't step in and the economy doesn't collapse and World War III doesn't begin. Let's pretend we get to November without any major hurdles like that, and we actually have an election. Is she the candidate, Steve, or not?
No, absolutely not. I mean, the reality of the situation, she was put in there just because she was a woman. She was put in there because she was easily controlled. I mean, look at how they treat her. I mean, all of her peers treat her like total garbage. And, and she's like the whip pup. They give her a dirty look and she's like backing up and, like they're getting ready to beat her butt. So, even her own peers don't like her. And then you have all of these people who backed Biden Harris during the last election, who have left the Democratic Party, who have now, there's that lady, she said she's blacks for Trump. And she was a huge Biden Harris supporter in the last election. She's left and she started her own group to support Trump. So where are all these people that are supporting Harris? I mean, for real. And most of those people that show up for these things, are paid, or they get a meal out of it at the end, or whatever the case may be. So they're only there for what they're going to get out of it at what they promised.
Yeah, a week ago, 10 days ago, I think we talked about it last week. She did a rally in North Carolina. She only had about 150 people. Those were all like paid. Those are members of the Democratic.
And I mean, it's the truth. Did you see that? Did you see that meme? You and Brooks had more people show up to see you than the Vice President of the United States of North Carolina, and that is a fact. That is a fact.
And
more people came to see you.
And there are pollsters out there trying to tell you she's winning or within the margin of error. In North Carolina, she's not even close. TV's Blake Wally. Do you think that, assuming no metaphysical changes to the force, there's no tremors in the force, there's no military, there's no World War II, there's no pandemic, do you think she actually makes it as the candidate to November?
Yeah, I guess this is the part where I might disagree. Yeah, so I think that they're stuck with her, and they have to. And another thing that was mentioned is that a lot of those times where they kind of make her look like she's doing really well and has big crowds, it's because there's like a concert or a musical artist or something like that, and they're going, look at all the excitement for Kamala. No, it's not. Then, of course, she had those bizarre, might have been AI manufactured photos. We won't go down that rabbit hole. But no, I think they are just going to be content to. I don't know if they can change the candidate at this point, and I don't know anybody that could generate that kind of enthusiasm at that. So they would be. It's a real problem. I think they're stuck with her, and I think it's going to be fun to watch them squirm all the way to the end.
Brooks.
It's going to be fun to watch the debate. I mean, that's when they changed candidates, is when Biden did so badly in the debate. But Biden was a rock star compared to what Kamala's going to do during the debate. And they are desperately, desperately trying to get out of this debate.
Yeah, they are. There's all kinds of excuses this week. Oh, we want this, we want that. She keeps trying to change the rules so Trump can say no, and then she can say, "Well, Donald Trump doesn't want to debate me." But I agree with you. I think the debate will be an absolute catastrophe for Kamala Harris. She'll probably show up drunk because she'll be so nervous. But look, I think Blake's point is sanguine. I think it's legitimate. Here's the problem: there is a way to get her off the ballot. What is it, Brooks?
Well, the way to get her off the ballot is to realize that she is not eligible.
Death. Sorry. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
She could be room temperature.
And
they could blame it on MAGA. That's how they're going to get some mileage.
Well, I don't think they're going to get any mileage because nobody's going to believe that. I mean, here's a scenario. Let me set the scenario up for you guys. Just yes or no. Do you think is it over 50% that this happens? She's forced to do the debate. She gets destroyed in the debate. The polls collapse. The support collapses. She gets sick and dies. And they try to replace her with another candidate. Brooks, what's the over? Are you taking the over or the under on that? Over 50% chance that happens, under 50% chance?
Over 50%. Because it's all about the not Trump candidate anyway. They just got to have a better one.
Yeah. Steve?
Well, I think it's under 50 only because, I'm waiting to see what this judge does to Trump.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, that's another issue. Blake, what do you think? Over 50 or under 50% that happens?
I'll say under 50. I don't know if they can make that kind of a risk. But maybe they can talk her into stepping down, or as Brooks has pointed out, if she's not eligible, if that comes to light after she bombs at the debate. But I think killing her would be too, I don't want to use that word, but I think that would be too risky. That could be really problematic. And
I'll tell you what might happen is not her ineligibility, which I think they've swept under the rug pretty successfully. There are people on Twitter who are fairly intelligent and have had some good tweets that say she is implicated in the January 6th pipe bombs. There were pipe bombs placed at the DNC and the RNC headquarters. They were going to try to blame MAGA. If they didn't get what they wanted with the shooting, they were going to try to blame MAGA. And there are rumors that she is directly implicated in those plots to plant those bombs, and that would get her off the ticket. But I don't see how that helps the Democrats win. I think it just shows their corruption. Okay, you mentioned Alexa Brooks. Let's go to Alexa. Somebody asked Alexa about the election, and let's see what Alexa had to say about it.
I cannot provide content that insults another human being.
Alexa, why should I not vote for Donald Trump?
There are a number of reasons why you should not vote for Donald Trump. Some of his policies are not aligned with your values. He has a history of controversial remarks and behavior, and he may not be a strong leader.
He may not be a strong leader. So this caused a little bit of a stir that Alexa is programmed to discourage people from voting for Donald Trump. I don't think it was that bad. Did I get the right one, Brooks, or is there something?
No, there was another one. A woman said,
all right.
Why should I vote for Donald Trump? And it said, I can't get involved in politics. I can't make political statements.
Let's try this again.
Right there. It's good for toxically masculine.
Am I missing something, or we don't have any sound?
Don't have any sound yet.
Oh, okay. I can't do anything about that.
There are many reasons to vote for Kamala Harris. The most significant may be that she is a strong candidate with a proven track record of accomplishment. As the first female vice president, Harris has already broken down a major gender barrier, and her career...
Okay, you guys can't hear that because I can hear it.
Yeah, we could hear that, but before that, she asks about Trump, and Alexa says, I can't make political statements.
She says, I can't make political statements, and she says Donald Trump is not a strong leader, and then she talks about come swallow horses accomplishments. She has 0 accomplishments in her entire life other than sucking Willie Brown's dick.
She's already broken the glass ceiling on sexual favors. Come on.
Oh, yeah. Okay, guys, I want to move on to something else. There's more controversy in how this election is being rigged that came out today, and it is related to one of my favorite sports, which I really shouldn't be such a big fan of. Ads appeared in Philadelphia saying Kamala, the official candidate of the Philadelphia Eagles. Here it is, official candidate of the Philadelphia Eagles, PhiladelphiaEagles.com vote. The NFL has been pushing the vote thing, I think because they think a lot of their fans are black and are going to vote for Democrats. So they're pushing get out the vote kind of a thing. But Laura Loomer investigated this, and what she found was that an employee of the Eagles was directly connected. Christian Molnar was directly connected to a bunch of organizations that have supported and do support the Democratic Party issues, and said a whole bunch of things along those lines. And they're saying, well, this was not officially from us, yet this guy is affiliated with the people who apparently put these ads up. So what I'm going to ask you is, and again, we have the NFL, they're all tainted by the taint. They're playing a game in Brazil on Friday, a country which has banned X because of freedom of speech. Personally, of course, if I was the commissioner of the NFL, I would have canceled the game as soon as they did that. Roger Goodell is a fucktard liberal who needs to be crucified. And did I say that out loud? I'm sorry. And, so what does this controversy damage the NFL? And it should, but does it damage the NFL at all, Brooks? I mean, are they just going to go on like it's business as usual? They've tolerated Kaepernick and a bunch of other crap.
I don't know what else could damage the NFL. I really stopped watching it during the whole kneeling thing.
Yeah.
I just have not got back into pro football since then. I've been watching college ball.
Yeah, well, the problem with pro football is that it's a game for pussies now. It used to be a game for men, and now it's a game for, it's all feminized. And I know why Roger Goodell wants to feminize the NFL. But Blake, what do you think about this? Is the NFL biased towards Democrats? Obviously, I think it is. And there's another embarrassing thing where Marshawn Lynch did a podcast and he had fucking Gavin Newsom and Pete Carroll on. And, all I ever hear about, you Seahawks fans, is what a great guy Pete Carroll is. And I've met him a couple times, once when he was USC head coach in 2009, and a couple times again in 2011 and 2012 when he was the Seahawks coach. And he was really nice to me. But when he got fired, he said, oh, yeah, I got a text message from Rachel Maddow. And I'm sorry, but if you're friends with that horrid cunt, Rachel Maddow, cow, you are not a good person. And the NFL is full of people who are not good people. Rich Eisen being another one. Blake, you're a little bit of a football fan. Give me an opinion on this. Does it damage the NFL at all? And if not, I think everybody should just boycott watching the Brazil game. But there you go.
Yeah, it's not a bad idea. I know you're ripping one of these a premier game away from whatever home crowd that they were supposed to play in. Yeah, they should have immediately pulled out of Brazil in light of what's going on Twitter and stand for free speech. That should be the way things go. That would be how it should be run. But of course, you got Roger Goodell, who's been awful. I agree with you. And they've adopted a lot of just woke leftist ideology that doesn't belong there. It doesn't fit in with the top of the administration versus everybody who are their actual fans who support the system. So they need to pull that out and get their stuff together, but probably won't happen anytime soon.
Yeah. Steve, you got any opinion on this or
well, the only opinion I have, whether it's a football player, baseball player, basketball player, movie star, just because you can run like a rabbit and climb like a monkey doesn't make you smart, and it doesn't make you, your opinion matter more than someone else's. And, they just need to keep their mouth shut, play the game. If they want to do something off the field, go support their candidate, personally at an event, what have you. I got no problem with that. They have the right to do that just like the rest of us do. But to use their, I'll use the term star, celebrity status,
right,
and use the game or things like the Academy Awards as a platform to push their agenda, to me is total bullshit.
Yeah, I can't stand Eisen either. Eisen is a creep. Yeah, here's a guy Rich Eisen is a guy used to be on NFL Network and ESPN, and he does a podcast now, and he has this. He works for NFL Network, and he has this plaque on his desk that he does his he does a Johnny Carson kind of style show. World's best father, it says. So when he came out and said something, about what a hellscape Twitter was, I said, really, can you really be the world's best father if you knowingly voted for a pedophile in 2020, Rich? I haven't been blocked yet, but I'm expecting to be blocked. These guys are they're all fucking. That's how you have a career in media is you have to be a libtard. That's why, one of the reasons why, not the only reason, being sexually assaulted by Giorgio Tsoukalos is the other, that I'm not on certain TV shows anymore. Did I say that out loud? I'm sorry. Okay, so another thing that happened this week is 6 hostages that were thought to be alive in Gaza that have been held since October 7th of last year were murdered by Hamas. A couple of women and men who have been abused and beaten and tortured for almost a year in this area of Gaza that Kamala Harris pressured Israel not to go into only a few weeks ago. Israel wanted to go in there and get them out. They had a pretty good idea where they were. Swallow Horus said, no, don't go in there. It will just escalate things. And now 6 hostages are dead. And it pretty much, Brooks, go ahead.
Well, I mean, they're not just dead. They were killed as the rescuers were approaching. They didn't find them dead. They killed them as the rescuers were approaching.
Right. And of course, the Israelis were ready to perform a secret operation, which they would not have known about, to get these guys, and they were all murdered. And vice presidential candidate Tim horse jizz drinking Waltz was asked about this yesterday, and this is his reaction. Let's get it on here. Let's not get it on, but let's get it up in front of everybody and listen to what horse jizz drinking Tim Waltz said when he was asked about it.
What's your reaction to the hostages being found dead in Gaza?
Thanks, everybody.
Goodbye, everybody.
What's your reaction to the 6 hostages being found dead in Gaza?
Thanks, everybody.
Yeah, so he's asked about the 6 hostages, and he runs away. Steve, what should happen to these people?
Well, first of all, every country has a right to protect their sovereignty. Every country, whether it's Israel, United States, Sweden, France, you name it. My rule of thumb is, which of course, if I were king, things would be different. I'm not. But, if somebody takes a citizen from your country by force, you have every right. You don't need to check with other countries. You don't need to worry about escalating anything. You have every right to go retrieve your citizens. And if you can't retrieve them, you have every right to carpet bomb the shit out of whoever took them and whoever helped them. And I get so sick of politics, getting involved in, in these rescue operations. And again, not just U.S. citizens, not just Israeli citizens. I mean, this happens worldwide.
Sure.
And all of these other countries get involved with you know what I'm trying to say.
Sovereignty of other countries, right.
And it's total baloney. They have a right to defend their citizens, whether they're at home or abroad. And, Reagan, if you remember when the hostages were taken, he said, if you do not return them, I will carpet bomb Mecca and there will be nothing left in the AM. And guess what? They came back totally unscathed, totally unharmed. And every country has a right to do the same thing.
Yeah, and that was funny because the press, the U.S. press, Walter Cronkite and other, Pinko Wally as my dad used to call him, they spent the whole time during the campaign trying to convince people worldwide that Ronald Reagan was a racist, sexist, nuclear bomb-throwing maniac. And the camel fuckers in Iran believed that. So between the time he was elected and the time he was inaugurated, he cleverly, brilliantly used that to scare the shit out of them into releasing the hostages. And that's exactly the kind of thing Trump would do. Blake, any thoughts or opinions on this particular issue? And again, isn't it, I just think all Trump has to do is just take these clips and put them in context, with a little bit of narration, and then show what the Democrats, how they react. Why would
even with Mr. Waltz, right? Even if he would have said, I feel sorry, my heart goes out to the families that had to endure. He said nothing.
Yeah, nothing. The aide came up and said, "Oh, we gotta go. We gotta get away from here." You're right. Again, they have no integrity. They have no desire to do anything except destroy the United States. Blake, any particular thoughts about this specific incident with Waltz or the whole thing in general?
Well, it's just interesting to see the contrast between Walz and Harris versus, say, Vance and Trump. Walz ducking the question, obviously, very blatantly. And, of course, Kamala just got earlier this big clips of her pretending like she's on the phone so she doesn't have to talk to press, but she was clearly wearing headphones. So it was another big blunder by her versus, say, Trump or Vance, who are love to address the media. Even, the hostile ones. So they're not afraid of the issues or answering questions, but clearly this wannabe administration, this pretend manufactured AstroTurf disaster, as Walz and Kamala are being, completely protected by the media, barely pull off a CNN interview, and now dodge questions whenever they can.
Right.
Absolutely
There's another political commercial for Trump right there, which is just show 10 or 15 seconds of him getting out of a limo, answering 2 or 3 questions, boom, 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 and then cut to Kamala and Waltz just ducking absolutely everything, and run that as a 30-second ad and just run it everywhere. Brooks, what should happen to these people? I don't just mean get defeated in the election. I mean, what should really happen?
Well, the issue is we're in the justice phase before war. And I think we're at the end of it. I really think that people have demanded justice for so long. There are a couple of movements. One is the Convention of States. The other is the Re-Inhabit the Republic movement. I don't think either one of these movements have enough steam to really develop before the election. But it's clear that 300 million Americans want justice. And they're sick and tired of these people who are above justice walking around breathing and shit and not paying the price for their crimes. And I really fear that they're ratcheting up this rhetoric to the point where citizens might take action. And if that happens, martial law will be enacted and they'll put down whatever the people try to do. We need to be very careful and not fall for their trap, especially, Venezuelan gangs in Aurora. Please.
Venezuelan gangs, yeah, and there's rumors that the Hells Angels were going there to straighten things out, but
They're going there for a motorcycle rally, and now they're saying it's happening in Chicago. You see all these TikTok videos out there. Please, people, don't fall for this bullshit.
Well, I'm kind of on a different side of this with you than you are, Brooks. I'm in the let's make the French Revolution great again phase of my frustration. All right, one last thing, guys, before we get out of here. Donald Trump was been doing a lot of podcasting interviews. People are saying, that Barron has been telling him what podcasts to go on, and on one of them the other day, he was asked about the Epstein client list.
But a lot of big people went to that island. But fortunately, I was not one of them.
It's just very strange for a lot of people that the list of clients that went to the island has not been made public.
Yeah, it's very interesting, isn't it? Probably will be, by the way. Probably.
So if you're able to, you'll be...
Yeah, I'd certainly take a look at it. Now, Kennedy's interesting because it's so many years ago. They do that for danger, too, because, endangers certain people, et cetera, et cetera. So Kennedy is very different from the Epstein thing. But, yeah, I'd be inclined to do the Epstein. I'd have no problem with it. But
okay. So what Trump is saying, in essence, is he's going to release the Epstein client list. I wish he was a little more forceful about that. I would have said, yeah, I'm releasing it. And right after that, about 90% of Washington, D.C. is going to get arrested by the military. And, I'm going to get those guys ready. So I think he should do that the first hour he's in office, the first 5 minutes he's in office. Brooks, what do you think about it?
Oh, I absolutely agree. This is what we're talking about here. This top 3,000 or 4,000 people that are in the military, in politics, in corporations, banks. These people that went to this island and had sex with underage kids.
Mm-hmm.
It's all on tape. Everything's been recorded. These people were hooked into this. That list needs to be public. The videos need to be put out. The pictures need to be put out. I don't know where the moms of these kids are. I'm sure they were paid very well. I'm sure the kids were well taken care of, whatever. But these men and women that went to this island, took advantage of that situation that Epstein had set up, they all need to go to jail.
Yeah, at the very least.
I'll go one further. They need to be given the death penalty.
Unalive.
I don't care.
Right.
I don't care how, what they participated in. I don't even care if they went and didn't participate in anything, but they knew what was going on and said nothing and did nothing. They need to get the death penalty as far as I'm concerned. This has been going on with the Democrats for years and years, back in the late 70s, early 80s, I believe. I might have my dates wrong. But, there's an island in Michigan that same thing, same as the where they kidnap children.
Yeah, Finger Lakes is it Wisconsin or Pennsylvania?
No, Michigan.
Okay, Michigan.
And the island's still there. The island is still there. It's got all of the buildings. It's still under operation.
And Hunter Biden, who we know is a pedophile, has tattoos of that Finger Lakes on his back. So yeah, Blake. People always try to say, "Oh, Trump was involved with Epstein and he went to Epstein Island." If that's the case, why has Trump always been talking about Jeffrey Epstein? And since 2016, 2012, 2016, 2024, if Trump is implicated somehow, why would he release all this stuff? Doesn't make a lot of sense, does it?
Yeah, no, that's a good point. And they do try to deflect there when they have zero self-awareness of all the people that they basically are supporting behind them that did actually go there, and it's documented. So that's a problem for them. I think if he can make that sort of a promise that he's going to release that Epstein's all the dark, dirty stuff that people wanting to see him, I think that should automatically win the election, and that would be the easiest way to tell the battle lines on who you want to vote for. However, he's got to tread very, very carefully about that issue because that is a death wish. And if he is able to release that, he should do it carefully after he's elected. But that is going to be a massive. There might not be time for arrests because that might be just the suicide weekend.
Yeah, suicide weekend. That would be awesome.
Look at Humma Wiener's laptop. Remember Humma Wiener's laptop?
Yeah,
that had all that stuff on it too.
Yeah.
FBI's got it in their possession. Why not make the arrests?
That's the other thing. He seemed a little reluctant to answer that question, and I wonder if he's going to save that for the debate and say, if they say to come swallow Horace, what are you going to do the first day you get in office? He'll be like, well, and I'm going to try to fix all the things I fucked up for the last 4 years. That'll be your answer in essence. And Trump will just say, I'm going to release the Epstein Island list. Everybody's going to know who went to that island. And then they're all going to run and like cockroaches when the lights come on. And I think maybe he didn't want to be asked that. Maybe he wanted to save that for the debate. I hope so. All right. Anybody have any predictions at all before we head out of here? I want to have some tacos. Anybody have any predictions? Brooks, Steve, anything you feel strongly about this
show because they come true.
Yeah, they do have a habit of coming true. There's going to be an assassination attempt. Don't forget, this guy right here predicted the assassination attempt on Donald Trump.
I said it would be public and it would be a near miss and everybody would see it.
That was 3 weeks before the attempt actually happened.
Nice.
All right. If nobody has anything, I'm going to make a prediction. Well, first of all, the first prediction I'm going to make is that I'm going to be on Ground Zero with Clyde Lewis later on tonight. On Skype, I'm going to be connecting with him over that. So tune in to Ground Zero with Clyde Lewis tonight. Clyde is a great guy, but I just can't get him off the fake moon landing stuff. It's like, dude, how many times do I have to answer these questions before you give up the fact that we went to the moon? So I'll be on that tonight. I'll be back with Jen tomorrow for Tell the Truth Wednesday, and then I'll be doing Whiskey and Wisdom with the original Mark Z. And on Thursday, I'll be doing the new football show with your buddy, Brian, TV's Blake Wally. Brian Engelman's been on the show. We're going to do a little football show on Thursday. So my prediction is the Seattle Seahawks will defeat the Denver Broncos on Sunday. There's no way that they can lose that game to a rookie quarterback. And Seahawks' new head coach is a really smart defensive coach. Not that matters in the NFL anymore, but that's
Speaking of rookie quarterbacks, how's the quarterback doing that was shot when they were trying to run?
Oh, he was a wide receiver. Yeah, that was Ricky Pearsall. He's a wide receiver for the 49ers. He was he got out to go to a autograph signing thing in downtown San Francisco and was accosted by a man with a gun on the street who tried to take his Rolex and got shot through the chest and apparently didn't hit any major organs. So Very lucky guy. He's going to miss 4 weeks and should be able to play in week 5 or 6, assuming everything goes well.
Speaking of missing, I'm going to the Mediterranean with a bunch of my listeners for 3 weeks. So I will not be on the next 3 Tuesdays.
Oh my God, Steve, you're going to have to step in and take Brooks's place.
Nobody can take Brooks's place.
You can call him from vacation, can't you?
Maybe. I don't know. I'm not going to have my phone.
You're not doing your show for 3 weeks?
I'm not doing my show. I'm having a sub come in and do my show, and I'm not going to be on Toxically Masculine Tuesday because I'm going to be out of the country. First vacation I've had in maybe 10 years.
You have a blast. What country are you going to?
Italy and Greece, and I'm also going to see CERN in Geneva and LIGO in Italy, in Pisa, Italy.
Cool. Wow, that'll be fun. Loads of fun. Okay, guys, that is going to wrap it up for the evening. Thank you for being here. We appreciate each and every one of you. Go to the CBD Gurus, get some excellent CBD products. Go to Mike Barrett Pets, pick up some pet products. Go pick up your Ledger Nano S hardware, crypto wallet, buy XRP, whatever you're going to do. This is not financial advice. Have a great one. I appreciate all of you guys, and I will see you later on Ground Zero with Clyde Lewis. And I will see you tomorrow with Jen on Tell the Truth.
Can you do that? Can you do it at the same time? Yeah.